Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop spinning? Like it's 2 a.m. The world is silent but your thoughts are louder than ever. You try to breathe deeply. You tell yourself, relax. You try to let it go. But somehow the anxiety comes back. Stronger, louder, tighter. Sound familiar? If it does, I want you to know you are not broken. And you're definitely not alone. In fact, in today's fast-paced world, anxiety has become a quiet companion for so many of us. We wake up with it. We carry it through our workdays. And sometimes, it follows us into the quiet corners of our evenings, reminding us of things we haven't done, mistakes we think we've made, or futures we can't control. But here's a question I want to ask you. What if peace wasn't something you had to chase? What if it's something you could cultivate from the inside out? Think about that for a second. Not just a moment of peace when everything in your life is perfect, but a steady, quiet calm even when the world around you feels like it's falling apart. What if your anxiety didn't have to control your life anymore? What if you could actually teach your mind and your body how to feel safe again? Now I know that might sound far off right now, maybe even impossible. But let me share something that changed my life. Affirmations. Not just empty words, not toxic positivity, but intentional, daily statements that rewire the stories your brain keeps telling you. Because here's the truth most people don't realize. Anxiety is a pattern, a loop, a learned response. But if it was learned, that means it can also be unlearned. And the starting point? How you speak to yourself. You see, your mind believes what you repeat. If you say, "I can't do this," your body responds in fear. But if you start saying, "I am safe, I am calm, I can handle this," then over time, your nervous system begins to trust you again. This video isn't here to fix you. You don't need fixing. This video is here to guide you back to yourself, to give you a moment of stillness in a chaotic day, to remind you that no matter what you're carrying, you can breathe through it. You can come home to peace. So, before we begin, I want you to do something simple. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Soften your eyes. And allow yourself to just be. You don't need to do anything perfectly here. You don't need to push away your thoughts. Just give yourself permission to pause. This is your time, your healing, your space to remember how powerful, how capable, and how worthy of peace you truly are. Because underneath the noise, the overthinking, and the fear, there is a steady part of you that has never been shaken. And today, we're going to reconnect with it. You've made it here. And that already says so much. You are choosing growth. You are choosing awareness. You are choosing peace not because life is easy, but because you are ready to take your power back. So whether you're listening to this while walking, lying in bed, or simply sitting still, know this. These affirmations are for you. This moment is yours. And every word you're about to hear is a step toward reclaiming calm from the inside out. Let's begin this journey together. Let's quiet the noise. Let's speak healing into our bodies. Let's start right now. Let's begin with something simply yet so easily forgotten. I am safe in this moment. Let those words sink in. Say it gently to yourself. I am safe right here, right now. Now let me ask you, how often do you actually feel that way? How often do you wake up with your mind already racing, thinking about emails, bills, health, relationships, decisions you haven't even made yet? And by the time you've had your first cup of coffee, your heart is pounding, your chest feels tight, your brain is already planning how to escape 100 different what-if scenarios. That is anxiety. But here's the truth that anxiety hides from you. You are not in danger. You're not being chased. You're not under attack. You're not standing at the edge of a cliff. You're here, listening, breathing, which means you are safe. But your nervous system hasn't quite gotten that memo yet, has it? You see, the human brain is amazing, but it's also wired for survival. Its job is to scan for danger, to anticipate problems, and to keep you alive. And unfortunately, it doesn't always know the difference between a real threat and a worrying thought. So when your brain says, "What if something goes wrong?" your body reacts as if it already has. Heart races, muscles tense, breath shortens. And suddenly you're not here anymore. You're lost in a future that hasn't happened, even may never happen. But here's the good news. You can bring yourself back, right now, to the one place where peace truly lives. this moment. Let's try it together. Take a slow, gentle breath in. And as you exhale, whisper to yourself, I am safe in this moment. Feel your body respond. Feel your shoulders drop just a little. Feel your jaw soften. Feel your chest loosen. This is your nervous system starting to trust you again. And you can do this anytime. Because the truth is, the present moment is your sanctuary. It's the one place anxiety can't touch unless you let it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What if I'm dealing with real stress? With real problems? Yes, life can be hard. Bills don't go away. Deadlines exist. Health struggles are real. But even so, can you solve those problems by panicking? Can you think clearly when your body is in full alarm mode? Or would it help you more to ground yourself first? To feel safe even for just a few breaths? Because when you feel safe, you think clearly. When you feel safe, you breathe deeper. And when you feel safe, you make better decisions. And that's the beauty of this affirmation. It's not just words, it's a message to your body, to your brain, to your entire system. You don't have to fight right now. You're safe. You're supported. You're okay. Say it again, slowly, like a lullaby to your inner child. I am grounded in the present moment. I am safe, and all is well right now. I release fear about what might happen. Repeat these as often as you need. Write them down. Whisper them when your chest tightens. Let them become your daily anchor. Because safety isn't always something the world gives you. Sometimes it's something you have to remind yourself of. Something you create by choosing presence, breath, and trust. And if you've lived with anxiety for a long time, I know this isn't easy. I've been there. I've had those nights where I couldn't sleep, days where I couldn't breathe, and moments where fear convinced me I was in danger when I wasn't. But here's what I learned. Every time I returned to the present, every time I said to myself, I am safe right now, I took back a little piece of my power. And over time, those pieces became peace. So wherever you are, whatever you're going through, just remember, this moment is your reset button. This breath is your reminder. This affirmation is your doorway to calm. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be here, right now. And in this now, you are safe. Let me ask you something simple yet powerful. How are you breathing right now? Really pause for a second and check in with yourself. Are you holding your breath? Is your chest tight? Are you breathing quickly without even realizing it? You see, most of us walk through life breathing just enough to survive, but not enough to truly feel safe, calm, or alive. And here's what no one tells you. Your breath is not just a function. It's your remote control for peace. When we feel anxious, stressed, or overwhelmed, our breath is the first thing to change. It becomes shallow, fast, tight. And before we know it, our whole body joins in heart pounding, muscles tensing, thoughts racing. Have you ever noticed that? That even before the panic sets in, your breath already knows something's off? But here's the empowering truth. If your breath can spiral you into fear, it can also guide you back into calm. It's your anchor, your internal reset button, your most powerful tool, and it's always with you. Let's take a moment right now, just you and me. Breathe in slowly. Feel your belly expand. Now exhale and let go of anything that feels heavy. Again. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. Feel that shift. You didn't need a therapist. You didn't need medication. You didn't need to fix your entire life in 10 seconds. You just needed one conscious breath. Because emotions are energy. And breath is how we move that energy. Without breath, feelings get stuck. They pile up. They fester. But when you breathe, you let them move. You let them soften. You let them go. And this is where the magic of this affirmation comes in. With every breath, I calm my mind and body. I inhale peace and I exhale worrying. I am in control of my breath and my life. Powerful, right? Now think about this. How different would your day be if you paused every time you felt overwhelmed and chose to breathe intentionally? What if, instead of reacting out of fear, you gave yourself 3 deep breaths? What if, before speaking in anger or making a big decision, you simply inhaled peace? You don't need to control every emotion. You just need to breathe through them. Let me share a quick story. Years ago, I was in the middle of a panic attack in a grocery store. Nothing major had happened, just a wave of emotion I couldn't name. My heart was pounding. My vision blurred. My hands were shaking. I wanted to run. But instead, I stood still. I put my hand on my chest and whispered, "Just breathe." One breath, then another, then another. It took a few minutes, but the panic subsided. Not because the situation changed, but because I changed. I came back into my body. I reminded my nervous system, I'm okay. I'm safe. I've got me. And so do you. You've got you. You have this gift, this superpower called breath. And it's free. It's quiet. It's healing. And it's always, always there. So the next time you feel the wave of emotion rising, whether it's sadness, anger, fear, or anxiety, don't push it away. Don't fight it. Just breathe through it. Breathe through your tears. Breathe through your doubts. Breathe through your growth. Because healing isn't about never feeling, it's about learning to feel fully without fear. And if you remember only one thing from this entire video, let it be this. Your breath is your bridge. Between chaos and calm. Between fear and trust. Between survival and true presence. So let's breathe one more time together. Inhale deeply. Hold it for a moment. Exhale slowly, fully. And repeat after me. I breathe through my emotions. Every breath brings me back to peace. I trust the rhythm of my breath to carry me forward. You are not your anxiety. You are not your panic. You are not the overwhelm. You are the one breathing through it. And that, my friend, is your power. Let's be honest for a second. How much time do we spend worrying about things completely out of our control? Other people's opinions, unexpected changes, deadlines we didn't choose, the past we can't change, and the future we can't predict. It's exhausting, isn't it? Now let me ask you something. What if the peace you're chasing only comes when you stop trying to control everything? So many of us live on edge, not because we're weak, but because we're wired to believe that control equals safety. If I can just plan every detail, fix every issue, prevent every mistake I won't feel so anxious. Sound familiar? But here's the hard truth. Control is an illusion. And the more we grip tightly, the more we suffer. Think about this. Have you ever tried to make someone think differently and they just wouldn't listen? Have you ever stressed about a flight delay, a health result, a last-minute change, and no amount of worrying made it better? Trying to control everything is like holding sand in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. That's where today's affirmation comes in. It's simple, powerful, and liberating. I let go of what I cannot change. I trust the natural flow of life. I focus only on what I can control, my thoughts, my breath, and my response. Let's pause here. Take a breath. Let that sink in. You don't have to solve everything. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to control every outcome to feel peace. You just need to learn how to release. Now, I know that sounds easier said than done. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming careless or passive. It means choosing freedom over obsession. It means choosing peace over perfection. Let me share something personal with you. There was a time when I tried to control everything. One micromanaged every plan. I double-checked every email. I played every worst-case scenario in my head before even taking a step. Why? Because deep down, I didn't trust that things could work out unless I made them work. But all that control, it didn't protect me from pain. It only added more of it. It wasn't until I burned out, mentally and emotionally, that I realized something had to shift. And that shift began with a choice. A decision to stop fighting life and start flowing with it. I remember telling myself, let go or be dragged. And you know what happened? When I started focusing only on what was in my control, my breath, my attitude, my reaction began to feel lighter, more present, more capable, more free. And so can you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and saying to yourself, I don't have to control how people see me. I just have to show up as myself. I don't have to control the future. I just have to make the most of today. I don't have to fix everything. I just have to breathe and take the next step. Can you feel the shift in energy? Here's what's in your control. The way you speak to yourself. The way you breathe through stress. The way you respond to uncertainty. That's it. And guess what? That's enough. Because peace doesn't come from controlling every detail. It comes from trusting that no matter what happens, you will handle it. You will breathe through it. You will learn from it. You will rise through it. So repeat after me. I let go of what I cannot change. I choose trust over tension. I surrender the outcome, and I return to the present. Let these words guide you the next time anxiety creeps in. When plans fall through. When people disappoint you. When life throws something unexpected your way. Pause. Breathe. And remember, you don't have to control it. You just have to meet it with calm, with courage, and with presence. You've got this. You've always had this. Let go and let peace in. Let me ask you something quietly but sincerely. How do you speak to yourself when no one else is listening? When you make a mistake? When you fall behind on your goals? When you feel anxious, tired, or overwhelmed? What's the voice inside your head saying? Be honest. Is it kind? Supportive? Or is it harsh? Critical? Cold? For so many of us, the answer is painful best. We're often our own worst enemy. We say things to ourselves we would never say to someone we love. We beat ourselves up over the past, pressure ourselves about the future, and carry guilt that doesn't belong to us. But here's the truth that no one teaches us in school. You can't shame yourself into healing. You can't bully yourself into peace. And you can't grow if you're at war with yourself. So what if today, right here, right now, you made a different choice? What if you chose to treat yourself with the same care you'd give a dear friend? What if you chose gentleness over judgment? Because here's something powerful I've learned. Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's strength in its most graceful form. Think about it. Life is already tough. The world can be demanding, unpredictable, even unkind at times. Do you really want to be just another voice tearing yourself down? Or do you want to become the safe space you've always longed for? Repeat after me. I speak to myself with kindness. I forgive myself for my imperfections. I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough. Let those words settle into your heart. Not as some cheesy mantra, but as a real act of emotional rescue. Because maybe no one taught you how to be gentle with yourself. Maybe you grew up believing that you had to be hard to be strong. That being tough meant being critical. That success came from pressure and love had to be earned. But none of that is true. Gentleness doesn't make you weak, it makes you whole. I remember a moment that shifted everything for me. I was going through a hard season. Work was piling up, relationships were strained, and I felt like I was constantly failing at everything. One day, in the middle of another wave of self-blame, I stopped and asked myself, if my best friend were feeling this way, would I speak to them the way I'm speaking to myself? The answer was clear. No, never. I would have wrapped them in support. I would have reminded them of their worth. I would have told them, you're doing the best you can. So why was I withholding that same grace from myself? Since then, I've been practicing the art of self-kindness. And let me tell you, it changed everything. My anxiety softened. My inner critic got quieter, and I started showing up with more clarity, more courage, and more love, not just for others, but for myself. And the beauty is you can start practicing this too, right now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to stop punishing yourself for being human. So the next time you mess up, instead of saying, I'm such an idiot, try, it's okay, I'm learning. The next time you feel behind, instead of saying, I should be further along, say, I'm growing at my own pace. And when you're tired, instead of pushing harder, say, rest is part of the process. Because here's what no one tells you. The way you speak to yourself matters. It shapes your energy. It influences your healing. And it determines whether your mind becomes a battlefield or a sanctuary. So repeat after me again softly, like a lullaby. I am gentle with myself. I choose kindness over criticism. I am doing enough. I am enough. This isn't about pretending things are perfect. It's about embracing the truth that even in your imperfection, even in your messiness, even in your hardest days, you are worthy of love and compassion. You are allowed to fall apart and still be deserving of care. You are allowed to not have it all together and still move forward with grace. Because growth isn't just about goals, it's about healing the way you treat yourself along the way. So let today be the day you stop being so hard on yourself. Let today be the day you start speaking gently like someone who finally knows their own worth. Have you ever tried to push away a feeling only to find it getting stronger? Like the more you try not to feel sad, the heavier the sadness becomes. The more you try to suppress the anxiety, the louder it screams inside your chest. If you've ever found yourself saying, "I shouldn't feel this way. I need to get over it. Why am I still stuck here?" Then I want you to pause and lean in for a moment. Because here's something most of us were never taught. The more you resist an emotion, the more it persists. But the moment you allow it to move through you, it starts to soften, release, and pass. It's not weakness to feel. It's not failure to cry. It's not a step backward to sit with your discomfort. It's actually one of the most courageous things you can do. You see, emotions are like waves. They rise, they peak, and eventually they pass. But if we block them, try to hold them back, pretend they don't exist, they don't disappear. They store up in our bodies, like pressure behind a dam until one day, they burst. That's why today's affirmation is such a powerful practice of emotional freedom. I feel without judgment. All of my emotions are valid and they will pass. I am the observer, not the emotion. Now, you might ask, why does this matter? Because when you give yourself permission to feel, you also give yourself permission to heal. Let me ask you, have you ever sat alone in your room, trying to hold back tears because you thought crying made you weak? Have you ever distracted yourself nonstop just to avoid that sinking feeling in your chest? I've been there, and I'll be the first to admit I used to run from my emotions like they were wildfires. But here's what changed everything for me. I learned that emotions are messengers, not enemies. They show up for a reason. And when we listen, really listen, they reveal something that needs attention, love, or release. So now, when sadness knocks, I let it in. I sit with it. I ask, what are you trying to show me? And then I breathe through it until it leaves on its own. That's the thing about emotions. They only want to be acknowledged, not fixed, not rushed, just honored. And here's the most beautiful part. You are not your feelings. You are the awareness that notices them. You are the safe space they move through, not the storm itself. So next time anxiety rises, instead of saying, "Why am I like this?" try saying, "Hello, I see you. You're allowed to be here." And then breathe. Let the wave rise. Let it crash. Let it go. You'll be surprised how much softer life becomes when you stop fighting your own feelings. Let me remind you, you are allowed to feel deeply. You are allowed to be human. And you are allowed to let go when you're ready. So repeat after me now. I allow my emotions to move through me. I release the need to control what I feel. I trust that what I feel today will not last forever. This is the daily practice of emotional maturity. Not perfection, not numbness, but presence, compassion, awareness. And if today you're holding on to something heavy, anger, grief, shame, anxiety, let this be your invitation. Breathe, feel, allow, and then let go. Because peace isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about learning how to walk through them with grace. You are not broken. You are just becoming more in tune, more alive, more present, more free. So allow the wave, be the ocean, and trust that everything you feel is leading you home. Let me ask you a question. What does peace really mean to you? Is it a quiet morning with no emails? Is it sitting by the ocean with no responsibilities? Or is it the absence of noise, drama, or problems? Now, what if I told you peace isn't found in the absence of chaos, but in your ability to remain calm despite it? Let that sink in. Because here's the truth, life will always be unpredictable. The schedule will never be perfect. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. And stress, it finds its way in, even when we try our best to avoid it. But what if peace wasn't something you had to search for outside of yourself? What if it was something you could create internally, matter what the world throws at you? That's the power of today's affirmation. I choose peace over panic. I create stillness from within. No matter what happens, I remain grounded. Now let's break that down. Because choosing peace doesn't mean denying your emotions. It doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means responding instead of reacting. It means anchoring yourself in calm while the storm passes through. Here's something I want you to remember. You don't need perfect conditions to feel peace. You just need permission from yourself to claim it. Think about it. Have you ever had a day where everything felt chaotic: traffic, deadlines, phone calls, family obligations? But in the middle of it all, you took a deep breath and suddenly, something inside you settled. That moment, that stillness, that was peace. You didn't find it on the outside. You chose it from the inside. That's what makes peace so powerful. It's not passive. It's a practice. It's a choice. And it's a skill that gets stronger the more you use it. Now, I know. There are moments where peace feels impossible. When your heart is racing. When your mind is spiraling. When everything feels urgent and out of your control. But that's when this affirmation becomes your lifeline. Say it with me now. I choose peace over panic. I breathe into the chaos and create stillness. Even when the world feels loudy, remain grounded. That's not just a mantra. That's a reminder of your power. Because the chaos isn't going away. But your relationship to it can change. You can learn to slow down when life speeds up. You can learn to center yourself before reacting. You can learn to find peace not after the storm, but right in the middle of it. Let me share something with you. There was a time in my life where I believed peace meant control. That if I planned well enough, prepared hard enough, avoided every mistake, then I'd finally feel calm. But that kind of peace is fragile. It breaks the moment something goes wrong. And something always goes wrong. It wasn't until I hit a wall emotionally and physically that I realized peace isn't control. Peace is surrender. It's learning to stand still while the world spins. So now, when the stress builds, when plans fall through, when uncertainty knocks on my door, I don't try to fix it all instantly. I pause, I breathe, and I remind myself, this moment doesn't define me. My response is my power. I choose calm, even now. And you can too. Here's something powerful to try. Close your eyes. Take a slow, intentional breath. Imagine your inner world like a lake, calm, clear, still. Now picture the chaos as wind on the surface. It stirs the water, but deep down the lake remains untouched. That deep part, that's your peace. It's always there, waiting for you to return. So the next time your day spins out of control, the next time the noise gets too loud, the next time you feel the pressure rising, pause, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and whisper to yourself, I welcome peace, even in chaos. I trust that I can hold calm inside me. No matter what's happening around me, I am steady within. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to come back home at your breath, your presence, your stillness. Because real peace doesn't wait for life to settle down. Real peace lives in you right now. And you are powerful enough to choose it again and again and again. Have you ever paused in the middle of a tough season and asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Why now? Why this? Why me? We've all been there. When life feels like it's testing you on every level, mentally, emotionally, physically. When nothing makes sense and the future looks foggy at best. But here's a shift that changed my life, and maybe it's exactly what you need to hear today. What if it's not happening to you, but for you? What if your current struggle is actually the bridge to a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of yourself? That's the power of today's affirmation. I trust that every challenge has a purpose. I am growing even in discomfort. Everything is happening for my highest good. Let's talk about that. Because trusting in the unseen, that takes courage. We live in a world obsessed with instant answers. We want results, explanations, clarity. And when life throws us into chaos, our first instinct is to fix it or escape it. But growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like confusion. Sometimes it looks like waiting. Sometimes it looks like pain that makes no sense until much later. Think about the hardest moment of your life so far. At the time, it felt unbearable, right? But now, with some distance, can you see what it taught you? Maybe it made you stronger. Maybe it forced you to set boundaries. Maybe it humbled you or made you more compassionate. Whatever it was, it shaped you. And that's the truth. Pain may visit us, but it never leaves us unchanged. And when we begin to trust that everything is, even the hard stuff, is working for our highest good, something shifts inside us. We stop asking, why me? And we start asking, what is this here to teach me? Let me share something personal. There was a season where I felt completely lost. I had just left something that I thought defined me, Job, a relationship, a routine. Suddenly, I was in unfamiliar territory. No plan. No backup. Just me and my thoughts. It was terrifying. But it was also the beginning of a rebirth I didn't see coming. In that space, I learned how to sit with myself. I reconnected with what truly mattered. And little by little, I began building something more authentic, something more me. Looking back, I can say with full honesty, that painful moment was one of the greatest gifts of my life. Not because it felt good, but because it helped me grow into who I am today. And you are in a chapter right now that is writing something deeper into your story. Maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe you're in the middle of it. But trust me, growth is happening beneath the surface. Just like a seed breaks before it blooms. Just like muscles tear before they strengthen. Just like dawn comes right after the darkest hour. Everything you're going through has meaning. Even this. So repeat after me now. I trust that every challenge has a purpose. Even when I don't understand, I remain open. This moment is shaping me into my next level. And let those words be your anchor when doubt creeps in. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to force clarity. You just need to stay in the room with yourself, with your breath, with your process. Because you are not just surviving. You are becoming. The very discomfort you feel today might be the breakthrough you'll be thankful for tomorrow. So when things feel uncertain, say this to yourself. I may not see the full picture yet, but I trust the process. I believe that something greater is unfolding. I am growing right now, right here, in this moment. And remember, not everything meant to grow will bloom immediately. Some of the most powerful transformations happen silently, patiently, and deeply long before anyone else can see the change. But you'll know, because you'll feel stronger, more centered, more alive. So don't give up, don't shrink, and don't numb yourself through the discomfort. Lean into it. Trust it. Grow through it. You are not being broken. You are being built. And this is your becoming. Let me ask you something powerful. When was the last time you confused who you are with what you feel? You feel anxious, so you call yourself weak. You feel overwhelmed, so you assume you're broken. You feel stuck, so you convince yourself you've failed. But what if that's not true? What if your emotions don't define you? What if anxiety is not your identity, but simply an experience you're moving through? Here's something I need you to know, right now. You are not your anxiety. You are not your thoughts. You are not your fear. You are the one experiencing those things. And that means you are something far deeper, far stronger, far more resilient than you've ever realized. Today's affirmation is more than just words, it's a truth to anchor into. Anxiety does not define me. I am strong, capable, and resilient. I am healing more and more each day. Let's sit with that for a moment. Because when anxiety shows up, it's easy to believe that it is you. It hijacks your thoughts. It speaks in your voice. It makes your heart race and your palms sweat. And slowly it convinces you that this is who you are now. But hear me. You are not the storm. You are the sky it moves through. The anxiety is temporary. But who you are underneath it, that is permanent. Think about it this way. When you catch a cold, you say, I have a cold. You don't say, I am a cold. So why do we say, I am anxious, instead of I'm feeling anxious? This subtle shift changes everything. Because the moment you separate your identity from your experience, you reclaim your power. You realize that you can observe the anxiety without becoming it. You can witness your fears without being consumed by them. You can hold space for pain without letting it write your entire story. I know this isn't always easy. There was a time in my life when anxiety felt like my name. It dictated how I showed up in relationships, at work, even in the quiet moments alone. I thought, this is just who I am now. But over time, through healing, mindfulness, and affirmations like this one, I began to see clearly. I am not anxious. I am a whole human being who sometimes feels anxious. And the difference between those two truths? It's the difference between being stuck and being free. So let me ask you, what parts of you have been buried under the label of anxiety? Your creativity, your confidence, your playfulness, your courage. They're all still there, just waiting for you to remember. And every time you repeat this affirmation, you're reminding your nervous system, your soul, your subconscious, This anxiety is a visitor, not a roommate. This feeling may stay a while, but it does not own me. I am healing. I am growing. I am still me. So when anxiety speaks loudly, speak louder with love. When fear says you can't, answer, watch me. Because healing isn't about never feeling anxious again. It's about responding with more compassion, more awareness, more strength each time it visits. And remember this: you are allowed to have bad days and still believe in better ones. You are allowed to fall apart and still be worthy of love. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed and still move forward one breath at a time. Let this be your truth today. I am not broken. I am becoming. I am not my anxiety. I am so much more. I am whole, even in my healing. So next time anxiety whispers lies into your heart, pause, breathe, and come back to this truth. You are strong. You are healing. You are still here. And you are so much more than anything your fear tries to make you believe. Let today be the day you reclaim your identity, not as someone defined by anxiety, but as someone who walks through it with grace, courage, and quiet power. Before we close today's journey, allow me to share something close to my heart. Not as a guide, not as a narrator, but simply as someone who's walked through the fog of anxiety and found a light on the other side. You see, I used to believe that overcoming anxiety meant fighting it, that I had to conquer it, outthink it, outrun it. I thought strength meant pushing it away, burying it under productivity, distraction, or silence. But I was wrong. You don't overcome anxiety by resisting it. You don't win by pretending it's not there. You win by being present with it, by staying, by breathing, by choosing compassion when your mind wants to panic. That shift changed everything for me. Instead of fighting my anxiety, I started showing up for it. I got quiet. I listened. I started asking, "What are you here to teach me?" And slowly, gently I began coming home to myself. Not the perfect self I thought I needed to be. Not the flawless, polished, always calm version I imagined. But the real me. The one who sometimes shakes, sometimes doubts, sometimes feels fragile and yet is still worthy of peace. And a huge part of that healing? It began with affirmations. Not just repeating nice-sounding words, but choosing new beliefs. Choosing a new voice that speaks to me like a friend, not a critic. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in one meditation. It happened slowly, consistently, and sometimes painfully, but always powerfully. These affirmations became the soft voice inside me. The one that said, "You're okay." The one that whispered, "Breathe." The one that reminded me, "You are not your fear." And my hope is that today they begin to do the same for you. Let them be your anchor when life feels too loud. Let them be your reset when your thoughts start racing. Let them be your quiet strength in the middle of chaos. Because here's what I want you to remember. You are not alone. You are not broken. And you are not defined by what you're going through. You are healing. You are becoming. You are stronger than you realize and more resilient than you know. And I want you to treat these affirmations not as a one-time thing, but as a daily ritual. Like brushing your teeth. Like charging your phone. Because just like your body needs fuel, your mind needs reminders. Come back to this video anytime you feel heavy. Listen when your chest tightens, when the thoughts won't stop, when your day feels like too much. Let these words sink into your nervous system. Let them become your new inner voice. And here's a thought. What if every time you repeated one of these affirmations, it was like laying a brick on the path back to yourself? Brick by brick, day by day, you build a new foundation made of self-trust, inner calm, and quiet strength. Let this be your permission to begin again. No matter how long you've carried your anxiety, no matter how loud the fear has been, no matter how many times you've doubted yourself, you can start again, right now, in this breath. So, breathe deeply, fully. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel your heartbeat reminding you you're still here. You're still choosing peace. You're still choosing you. This isn't just about feeling better for 5 minutes. This is about building a life that feels lighter, calmer, and more aligned every single day. And if this video helped you, even a little, please share it. Because somewhere, someone else might be quietly struggling right now, just like you were. Someone might be searching for peace, for hope, for healing, and this could be the moment that starts their journey. We are all walking each other home. So from my heart to yours, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for choosing presence over panic. Thank you for taking this step toward healing. Let's close together with one final breath. Inhale, strength, stillness, grace. Exhale, fear, pressure, doubt. And as we end, remember this. You are not your anxiety. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are so much more. You are the breath. You are the light. You are the calm within the storm. So go gently, go bravely, and always, always come back to your breath. This is your reset. This is your peace. This is your new beginning.